Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of my new series, Healer Leftovers. In this series, I want to talk about healing concepts that don't always make it into guides, but are still very important. Today, I want to discuss the following question. As a healer, should you meld direct hit or determination? Out of all the melding questions I get, this is the one that tends to come up the most often. As a healer, direct hit is sort of this nebulous secondary stat that most people don't know that much about. Generally, people who do know something about melding direct hit on healers know two things. First, that direct hit competes with determination for meld priority, and second, that direct hit supposedly lets you do more damage than determination. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, this is all you know about direct hit. I want to take a little time today to explain what direct hit is and what the pros and cons of melding direct hit instead of determination are. Hopefully, by the end of this video, I'll have filled in some holes in your knowledge so that you can make your own informed decision about what to meld. So first, let's go over what exactly a direct hit is. If you have direct hit melded, whenever you deal damage, your abilities will have a chance to direct hit, dealing 25% bonus damage. When you direct hit, the damage numbers appear slightly larger than normal. Notice that this is different from a critical hit, which uses even larger numbers and an exclamation point. Melding direct hit increases your chances of landing a direct hit. Specifically, every 60 direct hit that you meld gives you a 1% extra chance to land a direct hit. Determination, on the other hand, works differently than direct hit. As a healer, determination boosts all healing and damage you do by a flat percentage. The more determination you have, the higher this percentage is. So now, let's tackle the obvious question. How much does each point of direct hit and determination increase your damage? I've taken the liberty of calculating this for you, so we'll just skip ahead to the answer. For direct hit, every 24 points of direct hit corresponds to a 0.1% damage increase. For determination, every around 25.3 points of determination corresponds to a 0.1% damage and healing increase. The math behind determination is a little more complicated, which is why it doesn't have a nice answer. You can see immediately from these numbers that if you're looking to do damage, it takes fewer points of direct hit to get the same damage increase as determination. So, direct hit is better for damage. We're done! Don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible insight from yours truly. Okay, but in all seriousness, you probably already knew that. So let's examine a more meaningful question. How much of a damage increase does this give you? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're melding your raid gear. Depending on whether you have fancy item level 460 or 470 accessories with 2 meld slots, you'll have anywhere from 19 to 24 melds available to you. Assuming you're prioritizing crit over both det and direct hit, a decent chunk of these melds will go towards adding crit to gear that doesn't already have crit in it. Let's say that you have 12 meld slots left over. We'll assume here for argument's sake that you have the option of either melding all 12 slots with direct hit or all 12 slots with determination. In other words, we can choose to add either 720 direct hit or 720 determination to our gear. How much damage does this give us? In the case of direct hit, 720 direct hit is a 3% damage increase. Using a similar formula, 720 determination is about a 2.85% damage increase. However, due to the way that Final Fantasy math works, this will become either a 2.8% or 2.9% damage increase. For simplicity, you can think of this as rounding, although the real reason is because of something called stat tiering, which is a little more complex. Depending on the amount of determination you already have, adding this 720 det will give you either a 2.8% or 2.9% increase. So, depending on voodoo stat tiering magic, melding direct hit instead of determination will give you either 0.2% or 0.1% more damage. If that doesn't sound like much of a difference to you, you're absolutely right. It isn't. Let's say you're doing 6,000 DPS as a healer. Depending on whether you get that extra 0.1%, on average, you're either doing 6 more DPS or 12 more DPS. Wow. Bear in mind that by taking direct hit over determination, you're sacrificing either a 2.8 or 2.9% healing power boost. Granted, this isn't that big of a deal either. A 3% healing boost is nice, but probably won't be saving you any healing cast or any lives on your average run. So essentially, I've just wasted several minutes of your time showing that there's not really a difference between melding determination and direct hit. Thankfully, that's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. It really doesn't matter which of the two stats you choose, as long as you pick one and then meld it. If you're not satisfied with this, and insist on me pointing you one way or another, I'll try to give you some guidelines. You should meld direct hit if you're speedrunning, or if you're really close to hitting a specific percentile on FF logs that you really care about. If you're a high-performing healer, and you're capable of pulling 9,000 or so DPS, these 0.1% matter a little more, and switching to direct hit might be able to get you something closer to a 20 DPS gain. Another sneaky benefit of direct hit for those who are looking to parse is that direct hit introduces more variance into your damage. Melding direct hit gives you a chance to direct hit, so naturally you'll have runs where you direct hit more often than average, or you direct hit on high damage abilities like White Mage's Assize or Misery. You might score that parse you've been looking for by just getting lucky. The best parses in the world all have some element of luck to them, and the people who compete for these really high percentiles meld direct hit, and then do a lot of runs until they get a lucky parse they're happy with. On the flip side, you should meld determination in pretty much every other situation. For general purposes, the healing boost never hurts, and losing 10 or so DPS simply doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Determination is especially good for prog situations, where a little extra healing actually might be the difference between life and death. One last thing that I'd like to touch on here is that what you meld can influence other people's perception of you. This doesn't come up all that often, but sometimes you'll see healers with direct hit melds get labeled as greedy by other raiders, especially in Party Finder. While I've taught you that there really isn't a difference between direct hit and det melds, most people don't know that, and might make incorrect assumptions about you. If you're worried about catching flack for melding direct hit, you might want to consider melding det, since after all, it doesn't really matter. Before I end this video, I want to take a moment to address a phrase that I've heard from a lot of healers, and that's, I don't do good DPS as a healer because I don't have direct hit melds. This simply isn't true. There's a ton of reasons why healers lose DPS. Maybe you're losing DPS because you struggle with movement, or you're being forced to heal too much, or maybe you're simply running out of mana because your DPS are AoE magnets and need to be raised. Some of these things you have a lot of control over, others not so much. But at the end of the day, if you're not happy with your DPS, don't point a finger at your melds. They simply don't matter that much. Thank you for watching. There are a lot of things I can talk about in this new Healer Leftovers series, and while I have plenty of ideas of my own, I want to involve you guys. If you have any questions about healing and raids, feel free to leave a comment. That question might just become my next video. Thank you once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.